I know what I'm about to say is going to fall mostly on deaf ears, but for a few of you, this might serve you really well. Could right now be the best time for you to be in the market looking to purchase a home in Bend in Central Oregon rather than waiting for that perfect moment? And when I say perfect moment, most of us are probably thinking of interest rates, right? We got to wait for the rates to come down. When are they coming down? We don't know. I don't know. Are they coming down in 90 days? Are they coming down in 6 months? Are they coming down in a year? We don't know. 2 years? I mean, we feel like the sentiment is going in the right direction, right? We don't know when that moment is going to arrive. All of us are trying to time a market if we're sitting on the sidelines. Some people have been on the sidelines waiting for a perfect entry point for 20 years and beyond. They still haven't bought a home. The median home price in Bend 10 years ago was $200,000. And now it's 800 as of last month. And we have some new data for you today, which suggests that it's come down a significant amount in just a single month. So with all that being said, you're over here looking at the data, the interest rates, they're sitting at 7% or maybe a little under 7%. Meanwhile, your friends and family are talking about how they bought back in 2020 and 2021, and their interest rate is sitting at 2.8% or 3.4% or 4.8%. And you're thinking to yourself, I got to wait for that. I can't jump into the market right now. My spending power is nothing compared to what theirs was 4 years ago. Well, those rates aren't coming back anytime soon. I can say that with pretty good conviction. Now, will rates come down to 6.5 or 6 or 5.5? Maybe, hopefully. We don't know, but we think that they will. That's stuff that's completely out of our control. What is in your control? If you're in the market and the reason why you're not actually actively looking at homes right now to purchase is because you're waiting for rates to come down, you could be making a mistake that's going to cost you a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, tens of thousands, maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000 or more. I'm going to explore what I mean by this in this video. Hopefully I have your attention. Let's get into it right now to take a look at what I mean. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel or it's your 50th, it doesn't matter to me. And you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad, the state of the market here in Bend and surrounding sunny in December, Central Oregon, then subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market happenings here in Bend and Central Oregon. My name's Ryan. I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. My business partner, Zach, and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help on their next transaction as it relates to real estate here in Central Oregon. So whether you're looking to make a move from out of the area or maybe a lateral move from, say, one point of Deschutes County to another, or you need to list your home to sell it, we would love to help you with your next real estate transaction. And whether you need to do that in the next 9 days or 90, it doesn't matter to us either. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, set up a Zoom. Or if you're local, let's go get coffee somewhere and talk about your situation. So what do I mean by this question I presented to you earlier? Is right now the best time to buy a home? What would that actually look like for you? Are you waiting for interest rates to come down? You and everybody else on the sideline are simply waiting for interest rates to come down. What happens when they do come down? Are you going to be the only one that enters the market? No. Everybody is thinking the same way right now. They're waiting for rates to come down so then they can buy something that everybody else wants to. What if you bought it right now for a price that maybe the owner would take a reduction, a reduced offer because it's been sitting on the market for 70 days or 100 days? This is literally what's going on right now. Here's some factoids to consider. Put aside the interest rate thought because that's what everybody talks about. Don't be like everybody else talking about rates. We got to wait for rates to come down. Ben just had a $100,000 reduction in their median home price in a single month. We went from $800,000 last month to $700,000 as a median home price for a single family home in a single month. Our median days on market is 51. We haven't seen 51 days on market except one other time about 18 months ago. And then beyond that, 5, 6, 7 years ago. 51 days on the market. What is that like to be a seller, knowing that you live in Bend and the stigma was it just sells like hotcakes all the time. And now your home's sitting on the market for weeks, months. Would that make you change your mindset when somebody gave you an offer 50,000 below the ask price? Probably that person could be you. You could be saving tens of thousands on the front end with the offer, and then knowing that when rates do come down in a year or 2 years, the value of that home you bought today skyrockets, knowing that you bought when everybody else was not even thinking about it. The other thing to consider is this: inventory. Bend has 3 months of inventory for another month. Okay, we've had about 6 months now of 3 months or above 3 months inventory. And that's been the first of its kind in probably 10 years. Our inventory in Bend historically, more recently, has been 1 month or less, which means there's nothing to buy. So when somebody does come into the market knowing that the inventory is 3 weeks, they got to make a purchase right away. The person selling that home, they know that they have the advantage. They're putting a house out into the market where there's nothing else out there. So it's naturally going to drive prices up. Right now, we've got 3 months of inventory. Median days on market's 51, and our median price just came down $100,000. So put all that stuff together and put the interest rate talk aside still. Consider what you could get right now. What kind of value could you be achieving? Like I said a few minutes ago, you could be getting a home at significantly under ask. And you could also know that when you get into that home and close on it, in a year from now, when rates do come down and the rest of the masses jump in, it's going to bolster the property value of the home you bought today. And if the rates do come down significantly enough, you can just refi and get that interest rate that everybody's hoping for, but knowing that you bought the home that you wanted today. So let me share my screen. I'll share with you some of the more recent data, and we can just kind of put a bow on all of this talk right now as to why this could be a better moment to purchase today than waiting. You know, there's people that have been waiting to buy a home in Bend for 20 years, and they just priced themselves out of the market because they thought that they could wait and time a market perfectly. So we've got our monthly beacon report up here dated December 6th. Okay, here we are. And what do we see here? The last 2 months are kind of interesting, right? We went from 800,000, an all-time high, to now 700, a local low. Going back, say, 8, 10 months, that's where our other low is, 682. But before that, 700,000, where is it? Okay, it's going back to April of 23. We just had a huge drop. And we'll explore why that drop could be here a little bit later in these slides. But just understand this, like, okay, median home price just dropped considerably. It'll probably go back up somewhere again. It'll bounce back here next month, maybe 725 or something like that. Who knows? But what we have is a linear line over the last 36 months. Okay, this is kind of the steady growth of Bend in the median home price. Whereas most people get too caught up in the month to month. It's volatile month to month. Look at just date back. I mean, you're not going to buy a home for 3 months, right? You're not going to buy a home. You're not going to trade a home. You're not day trading a home. You're buying a home to live in it for 5 years, for 10 years. If you scale back 5 more years, the median home price is like 400 or maybe 250 or 300. Okay, we've seen incredible growth over basically a 7 to 10 year span. Would buying a home right now with a $100,000 discount be of value? Well, let's continue looking into this thought and this theory here, because it's not predicated on this. Again, I don't put a ton of merit in going from 800 to 700 because it might bounce back to 750 next month. But let's keep on looking at some more of the solid data that suggests why now could be a good time. 2 straight months of 40 plus days of a median days on market. That's a huge statistic. Look back at the last time we had 50 days. It was January or February of 23. But before that, look at this. This was like the trend for like the 36 months before that, just going that way. I'm not kidding. It's pretty wild. And so we have 51 days for the second time, essentially, 51 days on market for the second time, essentially, in 7, 8 years. What does that do for the psychology of a seller, knowing that their home they thought they could sell just like that has been sitting on the market? Would that make you put yourself in the seller's shoes? Would that make you a little bit more prone to maybe take a lower offer than what you're asking? Say you're asking 800,000, the median home price in Bend, or 700,000. Would you be a little bit more open to say 675 or 650? Somewhere, I mean, who knows what the situation is? You got to move your home, right? It's for sale. It's been sitting there for 70 days or 60 days or 50 days on average. Or, I mean, that's what's crazy. Like this is our median days uh, on the market. Okay, that probably drives some sellers crazy right now because they're not getting their number and they're getting frustrated. They could be more willing to take a huge reduction. Could you save 25,000? Could you save 50,000 on the front end of the purchase and then just sit there on the house while living in it, enjoying the benefits of living in the home? And then in 2 years, it goes up because rates finally come down. Again, people trying to time the market based on rates are making an error, in my opinion. They can afford a home now. They should be actively looking. And that's what's interesting about where we're at. Let's go to the final statistic of this month that I think is very important for you to understand. This is 3 months. This is a line of at least 3 months of inventory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight months now. This is wild. There's homes sitting on the market for longer than 51 days. Some of these homes have been on the market for 100 plus days. What does that do to the seller? Are they really trying to get out from underneath that home now? Are they willing to take a huge reduction to move their home? They're finally having that moment where they're coming to grips with the value of their home. It's not the way it was back here in 2021 and 2022 when you could just list a home, ignore your realtor's advice and just list it for 100 grand over the market value and still get offers over the weekend. It just doesn't exist anymore. And so right now is just it's kind of it's a fragile point for sellers. I mean, what do? They have to come to grips with the value of their home. So let's continue on. We're going to hop into Redmond here in a second. So I scroll down. Where is Redmond at? Well, kind of similar. Very interesting. You could be looking at Redmond right now too. We have a lot of people that are curious about Redmond. And there's a lot of homes sitting on the market again. 491. Okay, Redmond's been holding steady at about 500,000 for a long time, give or take. There's a couple months here and there where it shoots up to 533 or 537, but ultimately speaking, about 500 is the baseline, new barometer, and it's been down there the last 4 months or so. But ultimately speaking, Redmond's really held up its value. But let's see if there's some trends that are similar to Bend. Number of sales last month we had 55. Median days on market, okay, 35 days. Redmond's a little bit healthier over the last, say, 24 months, but you can see the remnants of the COVID boom right over here, 6 days, 4 days, 6 days, et cetera. Then it finally went back up 56 days there. February of 2023, that was the same month that Bend had their 51 days. And so right now, Redmond's actually responding a little bit better. Their homes are moving faster than Bend. Very interesting. Let's continue going down here. Let's see where their inventory is at, because another very interesting statistic and measurement. 2 months of inventory versus Bend's 3 months. Okay. Are sellers in Redmond a little bit more prone to taking a reduction in a price if it means they get to move their home? Maybe. But ultimately speaking, this is a time to be considering being in the market for the sake of saving money now as opposed to waiting when everybody else jumps in the market. It's just going to force prices up. So let's continue on with the smaller markets in Central Oregon, and we can wrap the video up. Sisters, okay, Sisters at 700,000. They had 11 sales last month. Days on market's 53 with 4 months of inventory. Okay, starting to get the gist of this. Sun River, 1.6 million. That's what's funny about these smaller markets is that they had 3 sales last month. So if somebody sold their house finally for 2.3 million and it drove the median price of Sun River up like crazy. They're probably going to talk about it amongst their friends or people that live in Sun River this month, going to brag to their friends that live in La Pine or Bend or somewhere else and say, hey, median home price in my town is 1.6. Well, that's because you had 3 sales last month. That's going to change very significantly next month. But hey, that home that sold for 2.3, that was on the market for a long time. 82 days average. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Let's continue on. Lapine 338. Number of sales was 6. Days on the market was 17. Current inventory is 8 months. That's a lot. A lot of inventory, not a lot of action in Lapine right now. It's a slow market in general, especially smaller markets. Crook County, that's Prineville, maybe part of Greater Idaho soon. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Days on market was 16, but with a $400,000 median home price. Oh, I'm sorry. Number of sales was 16. Days on market's 33 with 4 months of current inventory. I won't ignore Jefferson County. We don't do a lot of business out in Madras, but 344. Number of sales was 16. Days on market's 100, 5 months of inventory. So you get the idea of what's going on right now. Everybody's waiting. Okay. We're waiting for the new president to show up. We're waiting for the rates to come down. He's going to save it. He's going to get out his magic crystal ball and he's going to fix everything. It's just not the way it works. What you can do is think subjectively. What can you control? I can control being in the market. I can control being open to purchasing a home right now. I can control making an offer that could be of value to the seller, but also be of value to me and get something at a discount. I can't control when interest rates are going to come down into that perfect number that's within my reason. I just can't do it. Nobody can. You can't do it either. I mean, it's just the way it is. We have to think subjectively. And if we're going to get into the market as a result of trying to own a home, that's the goal, own a home and build equity with it. Well, this could be the foresight potentially that helps you make sense of now versus later, because everybody can wait. Some people wait forever. And historically speaking, prices just go up. I was looking through some old data just recently, and it was just, I saw a 𝐁𝐞𝐧𝐻 article that dated back to 2019, just 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And it said record median home price in Bend of 438. Isn't that crazy? That was 6 years ago. We had record median home prices of under $500,000 in Bend. And now we look back at that and think that that was the cheapest price for a home ever. And in reality, it was just par for the course, steady incline over the course of time. It's going to continue doing so. If you haven't watched my video that speculates Bend's future median home price in 2028 and 2033, you should go check it out. I'll put a card up here in the top of the video here so you can go look at it if you haven't watched it yet. But what it's hinting at is that in 4 years, we could be looking at $1 million median home price in Bend. What else? In 2033, we could be looking at 1.5. Now, that isn't based off of just some crazy random speculation. It is speculation. We'll be on. Let's make it clear. But it's also based off of data from around other areas of the country that are kind of following the same suit. Watch the video, just check it out and let me know what you think, because I make it pretty clear that I think it's kind of like out there. But anyway, I digress. Thank you for watching today's market update video. Hopefully you got some value out of it. Hopefully you got you thinking a little bit. If you're ready to talk to us about your situation, please reach out to us. You can call us, text us, email us, set up a Zoom. If you're local, let's go get coffee. My name's Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video.